One. Live and direct from Chipotle. What's going on? What's going on, man? It's HD Rhodes, live and direct, spending quality time with my baby girl, my daughter, my one and only princess, Anisha Genevieve Rhodes. And man, it's actually pretty amazing. Today she was working on her homework project, and it's pretty cool. She was showing me what she was working on, and it was kind of cool because it actually fits right in to what our conversation has been all week as we're talking about the trends. And in her homework, the assignment was basically she had to talk about the 3 reasons that the Roman Empire fell. And I found it quite fascinating because number 1 they first talked about was taxation and an inflation. And I was like, no way, that is so cool. Like, it's exactly what she was studying is what we've been talking about. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and take off my backpack and get ready so we can have this nice little intimate conversation. Nice little dinner table conversation, dinner table gathering. We're gonna go ahead and chop it up, you know, as everyone's getting back from their job. And you know what, I just want to thank you for coming today. And let's just go ahead and get to the point. The reason we're here today is because I want to talk to you guys about a phenomenal opportunity, an opportunity for you guys to be able to be blessed, to learn how to monetize your gifts, monetize your talents, to learn to be able to monetize, you know, what you do best. And the reason we want to talk about that is there's a few things that have been going on that has really empowered you to be able to do that. Number 1, and hold on, I might go outside. Let me see if it's warm or if it's cold out here. It's kind of chilly. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. But anyways, the number 1 thing that, you know, is really driving this particular opportunity is the trends, the technology. You know, technology has always been a major factor when it came to, you know what, being able to make a lot of money. You know, they always say that success happens when preparedness meets opportunity. And the awesome thing about this opportunity is you're already prepared for it. You know, this opportunity's product is solely based off of one big thing, and that's you. It's what's your gifts, you know, what did God put inside you? You know, what's your dream? What's your vision? You know, what is it that you've always thought in your heart? You know, if you had all the time and all the money in the world, you know, what is it that you wish that you would be able to do? And that's what it is. That's what this vehicle is about. You know, that's exactly what the product is. It's about what is it that, you know, some people like to say, you know, what is it you bring to the table? Well, you know what, in this conversation, it's your gift and it's what God put in you. And so what happens is, you know, if you go back about a century and a half, there's my baby girl. You go back a century and a half, you know, over 90% of the population worked for themselves, you know, and it was on the agricultural, you know, it's the agricultural age. If you own land, you farmed your land, you know, whether it was food or whatever, you know, that was where most people's income source came from. Then when the Industrial Revolution, it went ahead and it went from the agricultural age to there was billionaires being created as they went to the Industrial Revolution, the advent of technology, the advent of the steam engine, the advent of the railroad system. 90% of the population moving from rural America, moving into the urban cities to work in the factories, in the various industries, making the cars and you know, a lot of stuff like that. There was billionaires made. Give me just a second. Thanks, man. So I had to give my daughter the card up here, getting some food here at Chipotle. But like I was saying, what happens is, you know, as the ways of wealth were changing, you know, what they started doing is they started creating these products that was in the factories and various industries. Go ahead and have a seat, man. We're gonna rest. It's cold outside anyways. You're probably like chilling inside. Still get the sun, don't have the wind. You know, if we're in Alabama right now, we probably definitely want to stay in just to get the AC. But anyway, so what happens is a lot of your the distribution that was set up back in the Industrial Revolution. You know, if you look at the Route 66 highway, you know, the transportation, the railroad, a lot of products were moving from the East Coast to the West Coast and vice versa. Along those routes of transportation, there's a lot of towns, a lot of cities in which were set up. You had a lot of shops, a lot of markets, a lot of strip malls, a lot of your mom and pops, restaurants and retail outlets, and etc. And that was what was really driving the economics in North America at that time. When you look at from all the way going from Nova Scotia on the east coast of Canada all the way to Vancouver, Victoria, you know, products and service moving by railroad and train was a big thing, you know, back then. Same thing with the U.S. Products moving from the East Coast, you know, from New York down to Florida, from Florida going across all the way to California. You know, it was big business. But as we've seen it change in, you know, the trends with from the Industrial Revolution to streamlined distribution, companies started becoming leaner and meaner. They started laying off people. As technology got better, they started setting up hubs, you know, more local, you know. And so what happens is logistics went from being off of the railroads and trains to the airplanes. You see the UPS, the Federal Expresses, where there's companies that used to have entire floors of just operators answering the phone for, you know, multiple businesses. With the telephone system started becoming more advanced, you know, they're able to reduce the labor costs from 100 people answering the phone to 10. You know, we came into the computer age with Microsoft and Dell computers, Intel Pentium chips, and as technology started helping out, you didn't need as many accountants in that office. You know, you didn't need as many operators in the office. You didn't need as many middle managers in the office. And so all those people who grew up in the Industrial Revolution, their parents told them to go to school, get a good job, work hard, work 40 years of your life, and so that you'd be able to get a pension or retirement. They had no idea they're going to have to retire on 40% of their income. Because of taxes, when you're working at a job, you got taxed before you got your check. You got taxed anytime you went to spend your check. You have to pay taxes at the end of every year. Then you add interest. You had to pay interest on school loans, your car loan, your house loan. You had also insurance. You had to pay insurance on all those things. You know, boat insurance, car insurance, medical insurance, home insurance, and if you went on vacation, you had to pay for travel insurance. You know, last but not least, the biggest income factor out of all those fours was inflation. Because what happens is as the economy is going and as companies are trying to get leaner and meaner, you know, as people are looking for, you know, ways to make more money, and as the cost of living actually was going up, we found with inflation that every 10 years, the cost of, you know, your regular household items and, you know, the cars, your houses, your food, your clothing, it would actually double every 10 years. So if you got out of school today after taking your expensive loan for $100,000, $200,000 to go to maybe UBC in Canada, or to be able to go to Stanford, Harvard, or Vanderbilt down in the United States, if you're blessed to be able to get a good degree where you get a good job making $100,000 a year, you know, at the end of 10 years in 2035, to be able to live at the same standard as in 2025, you're going to have to make $200,000. That means in 2045, you're going to have to make them $400,000. Okay, and by 2055, you're going to have to be making $800,000, you know, a year to live at the same standard. Most people realize that they weren't going to be able to keep up with inflation. So when back in the Industrial Revolution at the beginning, there was one-income houses. The husband would go and he would work. The wives would be at home. Then as inflation increased, you know what? Then the husbands and wives went to work. Then the husbands and wives went to work and the husband had a second job. Then the husbands and wife both went to work and they both had a second job. These days you see a lot of people are going and driving Uber, Uber Eats, skip the dishes, dinner delivery. Everyone's looking for a side hustle because the cost of living they can't keep up with. And the main reason is because what Robert Kiyosaki taught in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's one of the first books on success and finance I read when I was in college. I was in the back of, I found the book in the back of a Porsche 911 by my mentor, Joe McGee, and he told me, he goes, HD, you know what? If you want to be a millionaire, you need to learn to speak like a millionaire. You need to be able to think like a millionaire. And he said, you know how you do that? And I said, no, sir. He said, you're going to have to read like a millionaire. When he got out of that Porsche 911 Turbo, I looked in the back of the seat and I seen this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The minute I got off work that day, I went straight to Barnes & Noble's, and I bought that book. And that book taught me the difference between assets and liabilities. And that's why we're talking today, is because what I'm talking to you about today is a business opportunity that's going to allow you to have an asset. An asset means that, you know what, you're investing in something that's going to make you money, even when you're sleeping. Liabilities are things in which you put money into that actually lose money. Assets are things that you put money into that allows you to make money. You know, being blessed to be mentored by Joe McGee, you know, I read the second book that came out, which is called Cash Flow Quadrant. In that book, it taught you the importance of learning how to make money by what they call leverage. On the left side of Cash Flow Quadrant, okay, at the top left, he taught us about employees. And everyone knows about being an employee. You're trading time for money. There's not much to say. You already paid taxes 3 times. We explained that. If you have credit cards, you understand interest. We already talked about insurance and inflation. You have no way to be able to keep up with the cost of living, to be able to fight those 4 income streams as an employee. Now, there's other people who got it a little bit right. They said, instead of having a job, maybe I'll purchase a job. And those people are self-employed, like your realtors, your mortgage brokers. You know, there's certain, you know, jobs in which you could be an independent contractor. The problem is, as an independent contractor, you have no leverage. So you're still trading time for money, but as a business owner, at least you're now able to have tax write-offs, okay? What Robert Kiyosaki said in that book, Cash Flow Quadrant, is you want to be on the right side of Cash Flow Quadrant, having an asset, creating a business where you're able to hire other people. Now you have leverage. You have people working for you, and you have your money working for you. So now you're able to start making money that doesn't depend on your 24 hours a day. And with that leverage, you're now able to start creating wealth. The fourth part of the cash flow quadrant, he said, as you start to make, you know, good money as a business owner, you have people working for you, you have money working for you, you want to start putting your money towards investments. Okay, and when you start looking at investments, he said the number one investments is for you to be investing in other people's businesses, because now your money that you're investing is working for you, no matter if you're awake or you're asleep. And that's what we want to talk about today with this particular opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to be able to tap into an online platform, and the product is you. What's your dreams? What's your goals? What's your vision? What is it you want to do? You know, maybe you're like my friend in Vancouver. You know, she's right now, you know, she has 100 different businesses that she's looking to go ahead and launch right now. You know, she has 100 different business plans. I remember a year ago, she actually went to business school, and she spent a lot of time in business school. They were writing the business plans. They were networking with successful entrepreneurs. They were looking at how they can go ahead and get grants. And it was kind of cool. It's kind of supposed to be like the Dragon's Den, that, you know, at the end of taking all these courses, that you're going to be able to pitch your business. And you know what? That was a pretty cool opportunity. Well, guess what? We have the same opportunity similar like that. The difference in this is you have an opportunity to link up with over 70,000 entrepreneurs who've already opted in this platform from over 160 countries. And with this platform that I'm talking about, the name of the platform is Vibe. VYB. It stands for Visualize Your Breakthrough, because this opportunity for you to be able to get the tools you need, the mentorship you need, you are the product. So it's whatever you want to do. It's whatever dreams and goals. Maybe you have an idea for custom-made hats. Maybe you want to sell your own, you know, your own merchandise, your own gear. You know, maybe, you know what, you teach karate classes like my good friend Rob down in Washington. You know, when I called Rob, he goes, HD, I understand you're launching a business. I said, yes, sir. He goes, well, unless you can show me a way to make money doing nothing more than teaching karate classes, I'm not interested. I said, man, get a pen and paper, Rob. I said, because I'm about to blow your mind. I said, Rob, when you're teaching your karate classes, do you have a cell phone nearby? He said, absolutely. I said, then all I want you to do is start hitting record. And he said, why is that? I said, Rob, look at this. How much are you going to make when you're teaching your karate classes down there in Washington? And he told me. I said, now think about this. What if I told you by you simply pushing play on your cell phone and recording the karate classes you're teaching? Now, some of you guys go, why would Rob be recording his karate classes? And I'm going to explain that to you, okay? Because with this particular platform, what Rob would be able to do, he studied this particular martial arts in Taiwan for 18 years. You understand what I'm saying? 18 years. I don't know about you, but that I would consider that, you know, he's a Jedi, he's a ninja. You know, he's a certified ninja from Taiwan, and now he's taken back this particular martial arts skill set in which he's teaching in the United States of America. Well, I told Rob, I said, now, what if you recorded it, you put it on our platform? Now, we have 70,000 entrepreneurs from around the world. They all have their own clients. So say 70,000 entrepreneurs times 100 clients, what you got there? You know, that's what, 70 million? That's at least 70 to 7 million customers, eyeballs. And we have a catalog full of different businesses and business owners. And say they wanted to learn his particular martial arts. Now, if only 1,000 people decided to sign up for his martial arts class and say, you know what, Rob was like, hey, I'm just going to put my toe in the water. I'm not quite sure about this. Let me just try and I'll price it at $20. If he priced his first course at $20 and only 1,000 people signed up, that's $20,000 he would have made that month for running his first course. Now, here's where it gets great. I said, Rob, what if you just taught each course, so course 1, course 2, course 3 was like one video would be for one day. Let's say that you had 10 videos per course, right, for that session. So a full session would be like 10 videos. So first month he has 10 videos, second month he has an additional 10 videos. So those 1,000 people who are going to come up, sign up for the second month of this course, they're going to be on what? Then the second session. But what if they all refer one person who started the first session? So now, instead of having 1,000 people, there'd be 2,000. 2,000 people taking this karate course. 1,000 of them are in the second month. 1,000 in the first month. The last time I checked, that's $40,000. And Rob's making money even when he sleeps because his course is online. Now, if that sounded cool, you know what? I talked to my friend named James down in Dallas, and I talked to James, and he said, HD. So you're trying to tell me, I love playing music. I love music so much. I play in jazz concerts. You know, I play in my church all the time. You're telling me that with this particular online platform, I could get paid to teach music? I said, absolutely. He said, man, where do I get started? And that's what I'm talking about. This isn't lotions. This isn't potions. This ain't vitamins. Hey, but guess what? Maybe you have your own, way of making vitamins. Maybe you have your own nutrition plan. Maybe you're a personal trainer, and you know what? You're looking for a platform where you can go ahead and teach, your specific, special skill set that nobody else around town knows about. And guess what? You could be teaching that on and offline. But when you bring that to our platform, now you have this platform working for you 24 hours a day. You go, well, HD, how do I know that I'm going to be able to get good foot traffic? What's the difference between going on YouTube and TikTok or Facebook? And I'll tell you the difference. The difference is because with Vibe, they got something called Vibe Spotlight. Imagine, once a week, this company, the owners are going to do a live interview with the brand new business owners who've already, they got their business plan, they got their business up and running. If they needed help with the courses, and branding the courses, they got Vibe branded. If you wanted to run your own clothing line, they got their own, they got Vibe Styles. If you're a personal trainer, they got Vibe Fitness. So what is it I'm trying to tell you? This is what I'm trying to tell you, man. At the end of the day, they also got Vibe Global. Whatever value-added course you want to create, maybe you were a professor for 20 years at a major university, and you're one of the smartest people when it comes to ancient Egypt history. Well, wouldn't it be great to be able to sit at home, have 10,000 people take your course each month and charge them $20? I don't know. 10,000 people taking a course that I teach at, for $20 each, that's $200,000 a month, okay? If this is something that sounds interesting to you, well then you know what? Then you're exactly who we're looking for. We're looking for content creators, educators, and entrepreneurs who are looking to be able to have not just accessibility. You have accessibility. You have Facebook, okay? If you wrote a book, you have accessibility on Amazon. But you have anyone driving traffic to your business, to your product? Do you have anyone driving traffic to what you do? But guess what? With Vibe, in Vibe Spotlight, and with our Vibe communities, okay, we have Vibe Tribe. You can literally create a community all centered around your industry or your particular product, and instead of having like 5 and 6 different memberships, this company has from the technology, the mentorship, the venture capitalist, everything you need to go to start your business and go from day one all the way done, okay? Now, there's 5 different ways you get to make money. I've only talked about one. I've only talked about one way so far, and and that's you running business the way you do. Now, the cool thing about Vibe is they kind of have this concept that's kind of like a gym. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna go to the gym. You know, it's almost summertime. I still got a little bit of weight I gotta lose here in my stomach. And you know what? I don't like the shape of my arms right now. I kind of gotta muscle out. Shout out to my homeboy, Rodney Jackson. Hey, if any of you guys are on this live right now, if you guys need to go ahead and get some protein shake, one of my good friends down in North Carolina, Rodney Jackson, holler at him. Man, he hooked me up with some protein shakes. And you know what? Got to give him a shout out. But the bottom line is I'm talking about a gym membership. Imagine if your gym said, look, you're already going to go to our gym. It doesn't matter if you're going to use the sauna, the bench. It doesn't matter if you're going to use the free weights. But every time you come to the gym, you know what? If you refer 1, 2, or as many of your friends you want, what if we gave you 50% of their membership as a thank you? Now, I don't know about you, but if Costco did it, I was going to go to Costco anyways. The movie theater did it, I'm going to go to the movie anyways. But imagine if the places you spend money incentivized you just for referring your friends for where you're going to do business anyways. You know what? That's exactly what they do at Vibe. This platform is building products based off of you. And they said, hey, if you help us build our Rolodex, our catalog of business owners, content creators, and authors and educators, you know what? We're going to go ahead and pay you for referring more educators, more people with gifts to us. That's the second income stream. Let's talk about the third income stream. You know what? People go, HD, I know you've always been in direct sales. And you're right, I've always been in direct sales. You know why? Because Robert Kiyosaki said that the direct sales industry is one of the fastest ways to legally go from zero to making a millionaire to making $1 million because of leverage. Remember, I started off this conversation talking about leverage. You know, we talked about an employee versus being self-employed. Well, guess what? You can get in the business and you don't got to tell nobody about Vibe. You don't got to tell nobody about the platform. You can come to school, get the education, get the training, keep it a secret. They can help you get branded. Then you can come off Vibe and you can run your little business. Or you can do all of the above and then say, hey, Vibe, since you guys taught me this and I know this, you guys already have a subscriber base of well over, 7 million people. I think I might want to sell my hats or my shirts, or, I might want to sell my custom-made, cups. You could do that too. And guess what? The great thing is, Vibe is going to pay you. They're going to monetize you, right? For whatever you're selling on their platform as well. They're going to monetize you for whoever you referred. And the great thing is, you know what? Not only are you going to get paid for what you do, you're going to get paid also for the other businesses you bring to them. They're going to give you a monthly thank you. They got a 100% match. They have 50% match. Now, if you want to get more information about the 5 income streams, all you got to do is DM me, okay? I'll go ahead and send you their copyrighted compensation plan. Now, as you can see, I'm here with my daughter, and she's enjoying Chick-fil-A. Say hi, baby girl. I'm about to get ready to get off this Zoom. But you know what? If you're number one, you say, HD, I don't know. I think I just want to watch and see how things go with you and this online platform this summer. Hey, no problem. I'll be here. I'll still be doing online presentations. You know what? I also do Zoom presentations and stuff for my team of entrepreneurs. Okay? You know what? Send me a DM. I'll send you the link if you want to get more information. If you're number 2 and you go, HD, you know what? It sounds really good. I just have a few more questions. You know what? Send me a DM. I'd love to introduce you to my best friend, Jerome Majette. Jerome Majette is actually not only my best friend, he's a mentor of mine, and he's also one of the educators on this platform. He wrote a book 18 years ago called Why Did God Make Man? And in the process, when he put it on Amazon, it kind of sat there because he had accessibility. But no one was driving the traffic to Amazon for his book. And so Jerome was smart, He was a salesman, but he goes, you know what? Maybe I should go and learn, attraction marketing. So Jerome took a job at this corporation in which they're teaching attraction marketing. It happens to be the same company that, Myron Golden, M-Y-R-O-N, Golden, took. Now, if you look up Myron Golden on YouTube, it's going to blow your mind. Because Myron Golden right now is telling everybody they need a digital product. And that's what this platform is. They're going to teach you how to create your own digital product. So you're making money even when you're sleeping. You're able to make residual income. And what Jerome is going to be able to teach you is how to do, not direct sales, but attraction marketing. Imagine having someone who's taught millionaires in the past how to market their business. Imagine having someone who took his YouTube page from 0 to almost 19,000 people, subscribers, in less than 6 to 8 months. That's what you have an opportunity to learn through my best friend, Jerome Majette. Now, before I get off the phone, I gotta tell you about the owners of the company, Megan and Reagan Lynch. I'm talking about they're some of the most fantastic owners because they've been in the field like us. They've been in direct sales before. But you know what? Megan started off as a 3rd grade English teacher. And when she started off as a 3rd grade English teacher, she wanted to help teach them entrepreneurship because she got tired of these kids coming to school and they were upset because they had friends that were dying on the streets, you know, and you know, just from the inner city. And so she said, you know what? A lot of these kids, you know what? They're hustlers. But if they just learn how to hustle a legal product, I might be able to teach them entrepreneurship. And so she started after school class to keep them out of trouble, keep them off the streets, so keep them alive. And it was called SOS, Save Our Sons. As that continued to grow, she was blessed to be able to write a grant with some people, and they were able to get $100,000. Long story short, when the school got the $100,000, instead of putting the grant money to the people who she was working with, they put it towards the band equipment, the football equipment, and when she complained, ultimately they fired her. That's how she got in the direct sales industry. She got in direct sales, learned how to make millions of dollars. 10 years later, Megan Lynch is known as the legend maker. She's not only makes millions of dollars, but she's known for being able to help entrepreneurs learn how to become millionaires themselves. So she is one of the co-founders of this company with her sister, Reagan Lynch. Reagan Lynch is a professional at networking with other Fortune 500 companies in which she's been able to bless us to be not only connected to financial companies and banks, but she's been able to connect us with technology companies. And one of the other co-founders is a gentleman who has this technology that he's built this huge platform on. And when you combine all 3 of those sources, I'm telling you, you're looking at the #1 business opportunity on the planet. Why? Because AI is coming, AI is taking over everyone's job, but with this platform, you have an opportunity to learn how to leverage AI to get your dreams, your goals, and your businesses off the ground. So I'm about to go ahead and get off of here. If you want more information, DM HD Rhodes. I'm out. Peace.